Hi, welcome to another edition of the program CSR Digest. CSR Digest is a news magazine program that x-rays the corporate social responsibility policies of international oil companies, IOCs, with our main focus on total CSR policy. Today, CSR Digest will take a look at the infrastructural development of OML 58 as enshrined in the 2017-2021 Memorandum of Understanding MOU between Total E&P, Egi Clan, represented by Egi People's Assembly, and Egi Oil and Gas Landlords Association. We shall take you through some projects' inauguration, thereafter the discussion segment. Stay tuned. My name is Ndung Ajie. It was a harvest of projects in Egi Kingdom as a team from Total Exploration and Production Nigeria Limited, led by representatives of the Deputy Managing Director, Port Harcourt District, Okechukwu Obara, inaugurated a number of projects. Erema community was agog as various cultural groups rolled out their drums to give rousing welcome to the team. Manager, MOU Implementation and Strategy, Total E&P Nigeria Limited, Josiah Otto, performed inauguration of Agma Community Hall.
That let this building serve the purpose for which it is built for. Amen. Let only the progress or issues that have to do with progress be discussed in this building. Amen. Today, by the power vested in me, I want to say I'm believing that this building will usher peace into a Rema community. Amen. In the name of the Father, amen, the Son, amen, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
And Eza Leremuku, Eza Zubike Jajwe reacted this way.
Today is a blessing to the Rema community. This has been a very long time expectation, but Total has put smile on our faces by this edifice. You can hardly see this edifice erected by companies in various communities. Total, may God bless them. Today is a day of joy to me and the people of Umagwa community.
The community also witnessed the inauguration of a project many described as commercially viable, a shopping mall by the representative of the Deputy Managing Director, Port Harcourt District of Total E&P, Okechukwu Obara.
We believe that the profit from this project affected a lot of the Rema community, and that the CDCs and whosoever that's going to be given the mandate to manage it to the glory of God and to the benefit of people in Jesus' name. Amen. The streets, I commissioned this project today in the name of God the Father, amen, of the Son, amen, and by the power and authority of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Addressing the community, representatives of the DMD, Okechukwu Obara, enjoined the people to own the project and ensure optimum utilization. He described the project as one with economic value and cautioned against vandalization. The company executive commended the contractors for timely delivery of the projects and reaffirmed Total E&P's commitment to develop its host and neighboring communities.
Completion and handover of these projects is in line with our commitment to support and re-engineer and then stimulate local commercial activities within Egi communities as prelude to enduring sustainable socio-economic development of our people. There is no doubt in our mind that having thought through the project and understood the basis of its nomination, you will not only take ownership of them, but will also guard them jealously for the benefit of the communities.
Ezagi III Ezeobuku of Oberland, Professor Anele Wokoma,
affirmed that Total E&P is willing to develop EGI and cautioned contractors against diversion of funds.
A project that is supposed to be only 55 million has run into hundreds of what? Millions. Is it Total the problem? No. It is our contractors that they pay and they eat that money. I have come to realize that Total is willing to develop a game.
Other leaders from Erema community spoke on Total's community development policy.
Let me say today is particularly exciting one for me because the great Erema is hosting our greatest community developmental partners, the Total E&P Nigeria Limited. Over the years done for Erema community, more than all that government has done for us. Believe it or not, we in EGI and Erema in particular are proud to have Total E&P as a company operating in EGI.
These are projects that have direct bearing on the life of the people, and we are happy and we are grateful to Total for this opportunity.
The atmosphere was the same at Akabuka as the community came alive with inauguration of the long-abandoned one-story block stalls in Akabuka Market. Shortly before the cutting of the tape, representative of the Deputy Managing Director, Port Harcourt District, Total E&P, Okechukwu Obara, charged the people to bring their business expertise to bear in the utilization of the project, pointing out that Total is gradually redefining its project implementation strategy from just static projects or economically viable ones.
This is your shop. It does not belong to Total. Manage it well, grant it to whoever you know can pay you, so that anything that is not working well, you should be the first port of call to maintain it. We will continue to promise you and to work with you as we go along. If there is need for us to intervene, we will intervene, but the first port of call of maintenance should be you. All these projects, so that we will know that this partnership is progressing. That's the name of God the Father, and of the Son, and by the power and authority of the Holy Spirit.
Community leaders from Akabuka were elated at Total's laudable gesture and expressed themselves this way.
Today is another day landmark because this building for years it was not completed. That is why the community turned out en masse to welcome Total E&P because of this edifice.
We say thank you to Total because upon the whole economic situation in this country, Total still bent, still consider to give us this structure, to commission this structure. We are happy with Total.
I thank God, I thank Total, I thank the new management for remembering Akabuka once again, despite all the problems. We believe that our relationship with them will continue to grow from strength to strength.
Welcome to the discussion segment of CSR Digest. CSR Digest is a program put together by Total E&P to x-ray their corporate social responsibility to host and neighboring communities. And I have with me here the Secretary Implementation Committee of EGI Oil and Gas Landlords Association, who just entered an MOU with Total E&P. Engineer Buzo, you're welcome to CSR Digest.
Thank you very much.
Yes. In this issue, between 2017 and 2021, there is a 5-year MOU that has been entered into, and we looked at the MOU, the content of the MOU. We describe the MOU as
an MOU that is just something that has to do with people, trying to improve from what it used to be to a new paradigm. Now, how would you describe that MOU, that 5-year MOU?
Thank you very much. The MOU between the Egi Oil and Gas families, communities and pipeline was entered into with Total E&P Nigeria Limited, and that MOU took effect from 1st of January 2017 and will terminate in 2021. It's a 5-year development plan. But in discussing the deliverables from that MOU, it will help us if we also look beyond 2017. Between 1999 and 2017, Total E&P Nigeria Limited, in partnership with the Egi Oil and Gas families, communities and pipeline, have entered into a series of MOU agreements. These agreements were directed at infrastructure development. And these agreements, or what we might refer in this kind of fora as the MOUs, produce a lot of development initiatives in Egi clan. Notable among is the Egi gas turbine project, the Total filling station at Obogu, the Ring Road project, the Bagi Hospital, the Rema Hospital, the water units in the communities, and several other infrastructure, health centers, to mention but just a few.
Okay.
The Egi Women Development Center, the Egi Youth Center, some internal roads, health centers, schools, both secondary and primary. Most of the community secondary schools were out products of this relationship.
Okay.
So in 2017, while the MOU was being discussed, emphasis tried to change from infrastructure to enterprise.
Okay.
The company felt that they have put in a lot of effort in driving the infrastructural development of the area. And there was need to shift emphasis to ventures that will produce income for the community people. It is in that thinking that the deliverables from the MOU were premised on enterprise.
Enterprise, okay. Okay.
The MOU, like I said earlier, took effect from 1st of January 2017.
Okay.
Some of the communities have gone to acquire land for such development projects. And the company, especially with what has happened in those areas, recorded a lot of uncompleted projects over these years. And while we are making effort to commence implementation of the enterprise-driven projects, there was the thinking that it is also wise to, alongside focusing on this new direction, try to complete those abandoned projects so that the area is not littered with abandoned
projects. Yeah. Okay.
So far, so good. I know Akaboka market rehabilitation has been commissioned.
Yes.
Another project also was commissioned at the Rema. But on the 2017-2021 MOU, most of the communities are at different stages of realizing their chosen enterprises. The company, as we're talking, is at the stage of paying for the land, fencing and clearing of some nominated sites, in addition to ensuring that most completed projects in those communities are completed.
All right, Engineer Buzo, the issue of abandoned projects, what necessitated abandonment of those projects?
Well, project abandonment has a lot of elements.
Okay.
Most of which comes from the contract management plan for a project.
Okay.
If the contract management plan for a project is weak, then the problem of abandonment comes in. Weak in what sense? If you design a project, maybe a school building project, that ordinarily should be awarded as a single contract, and this contract is split into several units to enable the broader participation in the construction process.
Construction, yeah.
The implication for this is that not all the contractors have the interest of the project at hand.
Yes.
So while contractor A is able to deliver, B, C are not able, D, E are able. Therefore, contractors B, C, D, E, F to deliver, they depend on the delivery of A.
Exactly.
So if A has any reason for not delivering, and all these people are paid at the same time, the implication is that at the end of the day, the funds that had been released to these other people may not be available to deliver on those projects when they have been unduly delayed. That's one. Two, there are human factors that lead to project delay and eventual abandonment of projects. The human factors like lack of capacity.
Okay.
Then there's also the problem of
security.
Insecurity.
Yeah.
A lot of factors driving people to doing what they are doing. Everybody wanting to do contract and don't have the capacity. So I think that a lot of factors are responsible for abandonment of projects in the affected communities.
Okay.
The prominent one being the contract management plan system that was adopted at that time.
Okay.
So
wanting to satisfy a lot of people.
People put a lot of people in the basket. Yes.
Okay.
Because that is the only way you can empower a lot of people to the community.
Exactly.
But given that as it were, the new administration are learning or have learned from the failures of the past. Yes. Okay. So in as much as these contracts definitely should not be given to just one single individual, in giving to several people to do it, you segment the implementation process.
Okay.
Clearing should be completed all at one time. Fencing should be completed all at one time. Security has and all those things. So when you face that project that way and release the POs
on milestones,
according to the segment of the project you want to implement, the tendency is that a reasonable percentage of those projects will be completed.
Okay.
But when we are talking about enterprise projects, that is like building businesses, the building of businesses which Total has suggested in the current MOU that we are implementing is a very beautiful idea.
Okay.
But the challenge in it is building businesses, enterprises that will create wealth can only succeed if you have been able to determine the inputs of the various stakeholders.
Okay. Like
for instance, a community is an oil-bearing community. This community has families that are also oil-bearing. These families is the reason why you have oil and gas families association.
Yeah.
Which means these families have stake in whatever comes into those communities.
Exactly.
So if you build an enterprise in such communities without defining the stake of these respective families, when you want to distribute the revenue or whatever, the benefits that will accrue from that enterprise, it will create another level of problem. So in driving enterprise, it is also very important to ensure that the dividends from those enterprises are distributed equitably to the stakeholders. Okay. Otherwise, failure to distribute them equitably create another level of problem.
But in all of this, because I believe that you are a management expert, and in this issue, how have you been able to, bring your wealth of experience to bear in the, reconciliation of all this? Because you have just mentioned some issues that need to be addressed in course of implementation of this MOU.
Yes, while we're thinking about how to harmonize the enterprises so that the benefits can get to these primary stakeholders.
Okay.
The issues like scholarship, for instance, post-secondary and post-primary scholarships, for instance, we have been able to, after the selection test, we call it screening, was conducted, we try to analyze the data arising from that test into the various stakeholding families, into the various stakeholding communities, to know how many persons from each family participated in the test, one. And having done that, you have to go back to look at how which community contributes what in terms of production. Then you, on the basis of that, you now ration out what belongs to community A down to the least community in terms of production. Okay. So when the share of community A goes to it, you still apply the same principle of equity contribution
in the families,
according to in the families, to ensure that he who produces more also gets more. That way, everybody feels satisfied. Okay. But if you allow a situation where the highest bidder takes all, it will create more problem than Total has intended to solve.
Okay. Now, in all of this, how would you describe the corporate social responsibility of Total E&P to its host and neighboring communities?
Well, Total E&P has been very a responsible corporate partner to Ege people. Total has stayed in Ege land for over 50 years. Okay. And it will be unfair for an Ege man to say that Total has not reached out to Ege people. They have reasonably reached out to Ege people. The only problem we have is managing the outcome of the benefits we are getting. Okay. And I think if we do that, with the current spirit in the Total team, we hope that the vision of creating a sustainable development agenda for Ege plan development will be successful.
All right, so do you have any advice for the OMF 58 rural dwellers or host and neighboring communities? Your advice to them?
OMF 58, my advice to OMF 58 is to keep the spirit they have always kept. Because if you check the oil-bearing communities in Nigeria, OMF 58 appears to be the most peaceful. And if they keep that
more friendly to the IOC they are hosting.
They are very peaceful, because there had never been any incidents, and we believe that if that spirit is sustained, the community will be better for it over a long time.
All right. We've been speaking with Engineer Buzo, who happens to be the Secretary of the Implementation Committee of the Oil and Gas Bearing families of Total E&P, and he has been speaking on the issue of CSR as it concerns infrastructural development in OML 58. Thank you so much, Engineer Buzo, for appearing on this program. Thank you very much.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
That's the much we can take on this week's episode of CSR Digest. The program will come your way again next week, God willing. But until then, bye-bye.